Hey guys, so today is Wednesday, May 13, and I'm going to be talking about anxiety. The hashtag for Mental Health Awareness Week is MHAW15. As I'll say that again at the end of the video, but okay, let's get on with it. It's anxiety. That's where you're nervous about what the future could hold, or you're nervous that the future could be bad. I said this at the end of the last video, so it's kind of a bit of an overlap. But yesterday, depression, I said, was you say to yourself that you know that the future's going to be bad, where anxiety is you're worried that the future will be bad. And there's different forms of anxiety. I don't really know much about it, which is why it's not going to be a very long video. It's just a bit more sort of like facts about it. But it can also be called GAD, is General Anxiety Disorder, or GAD. Is where you feel in a constant state of high anxiety, or it's just sort of like the general anxiety, but it's heightened a bit. It can often be known as free floating or chronic worrying, and like the reasons because of that are you're free floating in anxiety, sort of like you're always thinking, okay, well, if this happens, like you're anxious that if this happens, what will happen after that? And if that happens, you're anxious, well, how does that affect this? Or that this will happen. And so that's the chronic worrying. You're always worrying what one thing happening is going to affect, or how one thing happening is going to affect another thing happening. Like, if that makes sense. Like you've always got racing thoughts, basically, of like what's going to happen in the future. And because your thoughts, like your brain's always going crazy about this happens, that happens, then if that happens, this happens, is it's hard for you to actually concentrate on one thing, and like it could be hard for you to concentrate in school because you're always worrying, well, if I fail this exam, it means I can't get into here, or will I not get into this place that I want to go if I fail this exam before I do badly in this exam. Or like, I sort of went through this, is like, okay, well, if I don't, like, because I'm still in school, I should be finishing next year, but is, okay, if I don't pass the exams this year, will I be able to get into, take the subjects next year? But like, because like you've got a loss of concentration, you can't concentrate, is you can't then focus because you can't concentrate and you've got racing thoughts. So like this video is kind of all over the place. It's like really hard probably to follow, and usually you suffer the emotions of that for about 6 months or more. 4.7% of people have anxiety disorder, or some sort of anxiety, whether it be general anxiety or whether it be in a different form. And I think I said this at the end of yesterday's video, 9.7% struggle with depression and anxiety, which is probably why I put it in yesterday's video as well, because it's talking about both illnesses, which makes it the most prevalent. And like general anxiety can affect between 2.2 to 5% of the population, but it accounts for as much as 30% of the mental health problems that are seen by general practitioners. because people have other illnesses, but they won't come forward about those. So the people that do come forward about their anxiety make up quite a chunk, like almost a third, of all cases that are seen by general practitioners, which I thought was kind of, oh okay, I wasn't expecting it that high. And like a different form of anxiety, it's called social anxiety, and that affects around 15 million Americans. The typical age of the onset of like social anxiety, this was surprising, is when you're 13 years old. That's the typical onset to have an anxiety disorder. 36% of people with social anxiety report having the symptoms for 10 or more years before they seek help. Like, what? Like, 36% have the symptoms for 10 or more years before they seek help. That's why we need to get rid of the stigma. That's why the stigma needs to go. Like, I just couldn't comprehend that. And with anxiety disorders, you got an extreme fear of being scrutinised or judged by others because of the stigma. In a social or a performance way, so if you're sort of like out at a club, or you're out in, like, generally out getting the groceries or something, is you're always thinking, oh okay, like, are people judging me? Or like at work or something, you're thinking, okay, that people are judging your performance, like, oh, that person's like underperforming, or they're like not doing the job properly, which isn't always the case. In fact, most cases it's not the case, because people are too busy worrying about themselves to bother worrying about you. And like, the anxieties can be called like social anxiety can be called like social phobia, because you've got a phobia of like being out in social situations because you think that they're always going to judge you. And usually people that suffer with that will have few or no social or romantic relationships, which makes them feel powerless, alone, or even ashamed that they don't like talk to people. They don't have many or any relationships with people, whether that be friendships or romantic relationships, because they're always anxious. Well, what's that person then judges me, like, in a negative light? And that's come from ADAA. .org, understanding anxiety, / understanding anxiety. I can't remember what the ADAA stands for, and it's going to annoy me, but so I'll link it down below anyway. Go check it out. It's really, really cool. People need to know about it. And again, I'm going to be pushing the hashtag. There's one called Be Mindful, which people aren't using it as much, but you can still find stuff out about it there. Or the main one that's being used is hashtag MHAW15. So yeah, go check that out on like social media, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. And people like need to know about Mental Health Awareness Week. So yeah, that's today's video. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about self-harm, which is like a huge topic, especially compared to what people know. So yeah, hope you enjoy what I have done and what I am doing. Sorry if it's getting a bit hard to hear at the end, because it's now started raining, which really sucks. But yeah, Like, peace. Hope you enjoy this week. Get involved with the rest of this week or next year's week. Peace.